Like it's been
The-
72.
Right.
I'm the one that shows the wear and tear, David.
Bob, yes, there he is, the patriarch of the family. Here's our radical politician. Sam, anything to, oh, yes. Sam lighting up. And now- Sam, this is great. Sam, this is great because you're sitting in front of the portraits of Sir Reginald Talbot and Dame Edith back
With
there.
no teeth.
Yes, with no teeth.
This is triple Talbot.
Well, it's okay if Dame Edith has no teeth. Chateau Talbot. Now, who could be more accommodating with a great meal in something out of the private cellar? Oh, how nice, Sam. And now, who is this coming in from the left? Oh, here. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's super newlyweds. Look at that. Oh, Patty Mac. Patty Mac, we're going to focus on your chest, Patty Mac, to see what's happening.
In the old days, we used to do wet T-shirt contests, but now 25 years we do dry T-shirts.
Right. All right. Very good. Mike, anything to say after 25 long years?
Hard years. No, glad we made it.
Reminiscing. Petty Mac, anything else you care to tell us about your married life? Like, tell us about the wedding night, Patty Mac.
I almost wore my negligee and peignoir. I found it in the costume box.
You did not.
Even on your wedding night. You want to see every word on your wedding night.
Tell us
Did we get one now? What can I say?
We just went back and we hated it and we stayed one night again. It was, when we were there the first time, there was an illuminating
Mike was
engineer.
25 years younger when you were there.
Right, and we were the only people close to our age was a help, okay? Everyone else was old. There was an illuminating engineers convention and a chiropractic convention.
Like a good group.
And a lady in a moth-eaten fur coat who was the social director. It was a nightmare. We were so out of place. We were so uncomfortable.
This is the first time or the second time?
The first time, we knew all our friends were staying in this cabin down by the dump, okay? And they were kind of trying to be, stay out of our way. In fact, we saw them once, driving down the street, and they're kind of looking this way, and we're over here. I mean, they were really trying hard to leave us alone. We said, no, we know where they're staying. This is boring. Let's go see what they're doing. So we went over there. They were cooking hot dogs and hamburgers out. I mean, they almost fainted when they saw us coming. And we checked in, and we stayed in the next cabin to them. And we spent that whole night, I remember playing spoons and chugging beers.
This is kind of scary.
Yeah.
I don't think I
Mike,
Want to grow up?
Mike, how did you
Really scared.
how did you like spoons on your wedding night?
This is the second night. So this year,
Second night, okay.
25
Well, that's
years later,
different.
we kept saying, well, we'll probably really like this place now because.
You were Marilyn. Can we hear a little bit about your honeymoon?
Yeah.
like your wedding.
Give us the details.
You have to tell us about
I just have one question. Did you get to do it after your first wedding? Or did you-
Oh,
No.
no, we were forbidden from even touching each other until 2 days later.
My mother said this was a small town. Everybody was going to think I deserved a wife.
Anyway, our honeymoon, the day of our wedding was the hottest day of the summer. And,
We're sure it was.
Well, in Maryland. They were actually married in December.
temperature-wise, it was in August. And although the church was relatively cool and pleasant because it was a big old stone monstrosity, those kinds of things, the reception was held in an un-air-conditioned old colonial house. It was a small little club that my father-in-law belonged to, and it was stifling. It was unbelievably stifling. The only place in the whole place that was air-conditioned was the bar in the cellar, and everybody that knew that it was there went down there, and we weren't allowed to go down there because...
We went down and spent most of the day down there, except for the reception line and getting the cake.
Was anybody with you? Or
Oh, yes, everybody was down there.
Anyway, after a rather hectic reception and everything else, we headed north. Everybody knew that we were going to Martha's Vineyard for our real honeymoon, but the honeymoon night, we actually went north and went to the public house. in Sturbridge Village.
Getting
which
more
was-
interesting, we'll zoom in on
which
Bob.
was,
There.
it was very, most interesting because on our way up there, it was about an hour drive, we went through this cold front in which it did your Kansas or Oklahoma rainstorm for about 15 minutes. So we had to pull over to the side of the road, and on the other side of the rainstorm, it was 40 degrees. We had nothing but warm weather clothing with us. So we had to hop right in bed when we got to our...
I mean, there was no
We
alternative.
get at the top of the staircase.
They what?
We are honeymooners, and they give us a room that is at the top of the staircase,
Oh.
which means everyone goes by us. I mean,
Well, if you're real honeymooners, you wouldn't notice.
believe me, it could not be noticed.
I mean, you wouldn't notice any noise.
I want to know
I'm
how,
sure that everybody that went by the room
when
noticed.
was the decision made that you'd be married by the judge? I want to know all that little story. I mean, I've heard you say it, but I don't.
Technical.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I like that. I mean-
I had, Patty Mac, I had nothing to do with it. Marilyn can tell you that story.
Okay, the 26th of August, which was a Thursday before our wedding, LBJ made an announcement at 6 o'clock in the evening that if you weren't married by midnight tonight, you fell under a...
It was our second anniversary.
Oh,
and you
well, I don't have that on my list.
Yeah, no, it was. You moved in that week, and I remember you came over because you didn't have a telephone.
Right? I was
And
waiting
then
for
we had
her.
asked some people over on that weekend because it was our anniversary. So that's
Is
exactly.
that right?
Yeah.
First, second?
Second. It was our second anniversary. But then as time went on, I
You've known each
mean,
other 23
And it was roughly
Found that.
our
She had
second
to tell me
anniversary,
that
too.
Maria Talchi.
Yes, and I remember,
So
yes.
she know then that I really wasn't sophisticated.
But and then my
She always
favorite
said-
thing she
said
ever
she thought it
said
was a
though,
strange name for
we
us.
started talking, you'll never remember this.
Oh, but I do, and I'm still going to crawl.
This is very appropriate after you were just saying about, you started talking about men and their midlife crisis, and that you fully expected
Her husband
when
was
Bob was in
23.
his 40s. No, she'd already extrapolated. She felt he was going to have a fling, and she was fully prepared for it. And I remember going, I'm going, gasp, how could you be so cavalier about this stuff, But you just were so deadly. I mean, it was like this was going to happen and this was going to
Now I'm gonna take another.
Kill me.
Another vote.
As I need.
She's giving a speech before the toast.
Well, it's the speech that goes along with the toast. It was funny because when I started thinking about the toast, I realized that I've known Hewitts for more than half my lifetime because I met you before my 22nd birthday, before I graduated from college, before, Chris was just a little elfin infant, the first one we knew, before Chris had straight legs, which used to be put to bed with a metal brace.
No. Yes.
I mean, really, I thought they were torturing this poor child. It was absolutely awful.
She probably told you too.
Yeah, she probably did. Before Patty Mack got her Phi Beta Kappa key, the first year we knew her, she got her Phi Beta Kappa key at a dinner. I was very impressed with it. The first Phi Beta Kappa I knew outside of my brother-in-law, and my gosh, he's so anal retentive, but she was the only retaining Phi Beta Kappa I knew.
This one wasn't a nerd.
Before Patty Mack and Mike liked Boston, because at that point they were only surviving the city in order to go back to their home state of Oklahoma, because clearly Boston was not a warm enough place for them. We were all so terrible, there was no way they were coming back before Vietnam, which is...
Before North Carolina, which is
Well, that's where they ended up, very temporarily with Phillips Petroleum, when you were still going to be a great engineer.
I was never gonna be a great.
But you had thoughts in those directions very briefly, before Catherine was born, before the pit. We all remember that.
Oh, God.
And it stunk to high heaven. And we knew you before Mike was delivered. On that wonderful occasion when we had all planned this wonderful shower for you and a certain person who will remain unnamed did not show up with the hose.
The only party that went on for
Half
8
an hour
hours
late.
without any liquor.
Right,
That
yeah.
was Ian's
That was the worst party I've ever
And
been
we're
at.
lucky knowing these people now that they had any booze when they arrived.
Yeah. That was one of the deadest parties.
It was going to be, we were going to have have vodka and tonic because it was hot.
Then we ended up with rubbing alcohol.
I think you ended up opening up your private bar after we surprised you with a T-shirt. And I remember it was an orange T-shirt. We ended up on the back porch.
We're talking a lot of people. I mean, this is a big deal.
Just a moment.
Very few of whom realized they were going to be having a teetotaling evening.
Those
They
were
first in Winchester society.
Well, those were not Mike's teetotaling days, because only about 6 months after that, our dear friend Michael and Patty Mack had on a sled in front of the house, moving it up very nicely.
Tobogganing.
Tobogganing. So, I mean, clearly he's changed in those years, in the interim years. Or you gotta give me just a second, 'cause I've gone sort of out of,
All right, while she's resting, there is a picture here of Patty Mack in her pregnancy dress with Michael.
4th of July,
And the Queen and King of the Hop are here as well.
Oh, I can't believe it.
okay, now we're gonna.
Mike, hold that up. Can you hold that, Mike?
Oh, God, let me see this. Oh,
All right.
where was this one up here, Tate?
Oh my God, look at this.
Oh, you were never that chunky. You were never that chunky.
Huge. Huge. Huge.